Hello everyone, I am Leela Krishna, an IAM engineer from ENH iSecure, and thank you for joining the session. In today's presentation, we will be discussing about Okta integration with CyberArk Password Vault Web Access. Before getting into the integration, we shall have a brief about the problem statement and the solution. So let us outline the agenda for today's session. And this is our agenda for today's session. We will start with problem statement and the solution derived with the prerequisites for the integration flow and the working flow, and we'll wind up the session with the benefits. So let's get started with the problems. In today's session, we will be focusing on a leading organization that utilizes Okta as its cloud directory for access management, CyberArk for the management of privileged accounts, and the Active Directory as a trusted source for user data repo. Active Directory has been integrated with Okta, resulting in the import of users and groups into Okta. With the AD integration in place, users and administrators log into Okta dashboard using their AD credentials via delegate authentication. The organization faces challenges in managing passwords for privileged accounts, in this case Okta admin accounts, as these credentials tends to be vital and require frequent changes than regular user credentials. Okta administrative actions plays a crucial role in access management, and as a best practice, it is always recommended to rotate the passwords for privileged users. Organization encounters difficulties in linking Okta with CyberArk PVWA to handle the passwords of Okta administrators. This integration issue makes it a potential target for security breaches, while organization aims to manage the Okta administrator credentials from its on-premises using CyberArk PVWA. Now, let's examine the solution proposed for this use case. To tackle the previously mentioned state, we will leverage CyberArk self-hosted password vault web access as an effective means to oversee the password management. To initiate this solution, we will make use of CyberArk PVWA, which is deployed in the organization's on-premises environment, is integrated with existing Active Directory. Now, from privileged identity perspective, we will establish two accounts for an administrator, a user account for non-privileged activities, and a privileged account designated for the Okta administrative actions. Now, with these two accounts created in Active Directory should be imported into Okta. As CyberArk PVWA is also integrated with Active Directory, the privileged account password is delegated to CyberArk PVWA. We need to connect the CyberArk PVWA with Okta to facilitate SSO, allowing the administrators to utilize their user accounts to retrieve the passwords of their privileged accounts from CyberArk Web Access and access Okta as an administrator. Having reviewed the solution, let's examine the prerequisites for the integration. These are the prerequisites that need to be checked before getting into the integration, and they are an Okta tenant with the super administrator privileges, a self-hosted CyberArk PVWA with administrator privileges, and an Active Directory that is connected with Okta and CyberArk PVWA. So with these prerequisites checked, we will go through the integration flow. To execute the use case, the integration process starts with adding CyberArk Password Vault as a custom application into Okta for single sign-on functionality. We utilize the SAML 2.0 protocol for the custom app integration. This is necessary because Password Vault exclusively supports service provider initiated flow. To set up single sign-on between Okta and CyberArk PVWA, it is necessary to configure Okta with both the assertion consumer service URL and the entity ID for CyberArk PVWA. Subsequently, by including the attributes needed by the CyberArk PVWA in the assertion, we will finalize the setup in Okta. Subsequently, we will set up the CyberArk PVWA using the single sign-on URL, sign-out URL, issuer, and the signing certificate produced by the Okta. By adhering to the outlined steps, we can effectively activate SSO between Okta and the CyberArk PVWA. To verify the integration, we must assign the CyberArk PVWA access to the superadmin user account. Since we have not activated provisioning, we required to create manually an account that matches the Okta username and test access to the CyberArk using the credentials of assigned user account. So as we have successfully enabled SSO between Okta and the CyberArk and manage the superadmin accounts, now let's jump into the actual working flow of the solution. The actual working flow initiates when the user tries to access CyberArk PVWA using the Okta user account. The user account is redirected to Okta for the authentication. After authenticating against Okta Global Session Policy, Authentication Policy, and the delegate authentication, Okta generates and shares the assertion to the CyberArk PVWA. CyberArk PVWA validates the assertion based on the data the CyberArk lets user login. And then under the accounts tab of CyberArk PVWA, user can get the password of his Okta admin account and can log out of all the active sessions. Now user tries to access Okta as a super admin by using the super admin account of him and the password generated by the CyberArk PVWA. As the password is synced between Active Directory and the CyberArk PVWA, the password generated by the CyberArk is pushed into Active Directory. Now, user is authenticated against Active Directory using delegate authentication, global session policy, and the authentication policy. After successful logging into the Okta end user dashboard, you can access the admin page by just clicking on the admin button. Even if the user is able to access the Okta end user dashboard, Okta also ensures an additional layer of security by prompting MFA to satisfy the possession factor. Then on successful authentication, user can access the admin dashboard to perform his operations and can log out. As we are done with the working flow, we'll move on to the benefits of this. Here are some benefits of this using CyberArk PVWA with Okta. The integration enforces consistent security policies across systems, reducing unauthorized access risk and minimizing the attack surface by securing privileged access accounts and credentials. Automates the password rotation and management, which enhances operational efficiency. Provides comprehensive monitoring of privileged accounts activities, allowing organizations to maintain detailed audit trials and enhance incident response capabilities. Facilitates seamless single sign-on from the service provider end, allowing users to access CyberArk through the single set of credentials, thereby improving user experience. Utilizes Okta multi-factor authentication to add an additional layer of security for accessing sensitive systems managed by the CyberArk, ensuring that authorized users can gain access. Reduces the burden on IT team by automating routine passwords management tasks, allowing them to focus on more strategic initiatives. Compliance processes through detailed reporting and auditing capabilities help organizations adhere to internal policies and external regulations such as GDPR and the HIPAA. Enforces least privilege access and identity governance, significantly lowering the risk of unauthorized access to the internal users through controlled access permissions and the MFA. This integration not only fortifies the security measures, but also ensures user experience and operational efficiency within the organizations. And this concludes our session. Thanks for hearing out and hopes this was informative. And thank you.